Okay, as the Lions continue in this season and we kind of realize playoffs are out of hopes and things like that, what we want to start doing is, and I know we say this before, that we're look to the future or that term. I'm not fully on look to the future, but we also want to look at the present and what we're doing right now and what are some good signs that are happening for this team. We had a home game against the Miami Dolphins. We lost 31-27. It was hard to stomach as it kind of played out exactly like we thought it would, especially when the Lions got up early. I was watching this game with my wife and we kind of both looked at each other. It wasn't that same old Lions thing, but it was like the realization of like, oh yeah, they're kind of moving the ball at will. We might be in trouble here, especially seeing what Waddle and Hill were doing. But I want to do a little bit further of a breakdown, defensive and offensive player grades through PFF. This is kind of cool to see. I've really enjoyed looking at these, and we haven't brought them to you on a video yet. So we wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. So I'm going to do it right now. And we always start with offense. So we're going to go with defense on this one. And I'm just going to preface this by saying there's some players that you would expect to earn a good grade. And then there were other players that you are kind of surprised they didn't. And I like looking at the defense for PFF, takes into account what was their assignment. How did they execute that assignment? That's pretty much what it does. And so it's sometimes hard for us in real speed, real time watching a game to watch all these players and to see how effectively are they reading, how effectively are they reacting. When they have man coverage, are they good in it? When they have zone coverage, how are they playing? Like all these different things. Are they doing their job? And PFF is about the best at it to let us know if they in fact are, without actually being the coaches on the team. So when we look at this, we are having this ranked by players, and the number one player PFF ranked, by the way, it was only 71, which isn't great. How do I want to put this? Is exactly who I thought it would be. Kirby Joseph has been playing some football, y'all. This rookie that we were wondering how long it would take for him to get ready, he has been playing well. And what I love about this is that his run defense was significantly higher than it has been in the past. He's been a guy whose run defense has been around 30. So that's been hurting his PFF grade, but he now is playing that at a much higher rate. Then if you go Kaminsky and you're just like, thank you so much. Like that, I did not see that. Here's the problem with Kaminsky. He played 12 snaps. It really shouldn't count. So here's the next thing we're looking at is Jeff Okudah. We've been saying Okudah has been playing well. He is playing well. And I think what's amazing with him is he usually has a better run coverage or run defense grade than he does in a coverage grade. So Jeff Okudah is continuing to play well. And then there were a couple surprises up here. When I was watching the game, thought that Alex Anzalone played really bad. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I thought Rodriguez had a pretty good game. I saw multiple times where Anzalone overreacted. He got too far one way. He missed a tackle. He this, he that. And then it comes out here and it's like, no, he actually had a really good game. Will Harris had a pretty decent game coming back. It's good to have him back. But now we need to look at this in comparison to other people. You have Hutchinson down here. You'd like to have him a little bit better. But you have Will Harris up here at 5 with a 64.9 grade. And then you have our Oruwariye all the way down here is one of our worst defenders with a 37.4 grade. Like these are the kind of things that you have to look at and you have to wonder why are they struggling putting Oruwariye on the field? Well, it's because he's playing like garbage. And this is kind of what Aleem McNeil's been. Nothing spectacular throughout the year. That's just who he is. Pascal almost disappeared, but he was coming around. This is just his second game as a pro. And Juju Hughes held his own. This was my biggest surprise was Malcolm Rodriguez being down here at 15. I thought he had played better. My non-surprise is AJ Parker. Dude was getting beat left and right. So I think when we're looking at that, that is the defense. I like these PFF grades. I like seeing who is the highest rated and who is the lowest. What you'll see here when I pull up in just a moment, when I pull up the offensive ratings, what you are going to see is a stark contrast in grades. And you're going to start to see why the offense has been outperforming the defense thus far. So number one was Jared Goff. This is interesting to me because when I saw Jared Goff and I talked to Chris after this game, I thought to myself, like, man, oh man, like he played a phenomenal first half, but not a good second half. He didn't make any plays. So this is kind of where PFF can kind of fail a little bit because it doesn't put into effect like what kind of plays did they make at what time. You see Evan Brown up here as our highest rated lineman playing at guard. And here's what was shocking to me, the run blocking at 88.3. Are you kidding me with that? Like the guy had a great run blocking grade, and that's usually his struggle. He's usually a pass blocking specialist. And he graded lower on the pass blocking at 61.7. So I thought that was really interesting. You need to give guys who got snaps. Jonah Jackson played well. Hawkinson had a good game. Then you have the guys you expect to see your Frank Ragnow, Jamal Williams, Penei Sewell. Khalif Raymond had one of his best games. Swift had one of his more struggle games, and St. Brown was one of his lower rated games as well. But when you talk about guys who had a lot of snaps that did not play well, no shocker here with multiple penalties, and just didn't seem to have it in the game on Sunday was Taylor Decker. The dude just didn't have it. Same with Josh Reynolds. You wonder how much that knee injury is hurting him. And so you have these players that are kind of going on a completely different level of things as well. So I just thought it was really interesting, and I thought some of you might want to see the PFF scores. And I think some of the major takeaways from this for me were we're missing our weapons on the outside. DJ Chark, I think that injury has hurt us significantly. I think that the offensive line did not play that well yesterday, and especially in the second half, and that really hurt us. Penalties really, really ended the offensive drives. And so when I look at all these PFF grades, what I see is something that's kind of similar to what was put out there. You had an offense that played pretty well, played really well for the first half, and you have a defense that simply isn't talented enough yet. I think that's the best way to put it. They're a defense that's just not talented enough. Their PFF grades are consistently lower than our offense because there's just more talent on the offense. I think the PFF grade is interesting for Jared Goff because I think that's more about what happens around him than who he is. He made a couple of great throws, but in the second half, when the team made adjustments, when the Dolphins made adjustments, so therefore Goff has to make adjustments, it wasn't there. The explosive plays just weren't there. His ability to move, to improvise, to create just isn't there. So I think when we're coming off this, the question we have to ask ourselves, and this might be a different video, and I'm sure me and Chris will get together to talk about this at some point. I think the question that we have to ask ourselves is, would we rather be sitting at 3-4 and being like, all right, we're in it. We have a chance to make the playoffs, but we know we don't have the quarterback of the future in Jared Goff because like the team is playing super well, but Goff is just Goff. Or would you rather be 1-6 and say, nope, we know it. We need our franchise quarterback, and it's not Jared Goff. So kind of interesting to think about. We still want to talk about these games. We still want to talk about what's going on. Maybe we'll talk about a couple standouts, things like that in future videos this week. But right there, wanted to give you an idea of where the PFF are. I always like these. I always like seeing who's rated where, and thought you might like it too. Hey, if you like stuff like this, if you like more of our content, hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know when we have new videos coming out, and we'll see you on the next one. Go Lions.